All right. It is, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 6:37 p.m. If you'd like to continue your conversation, you can take it outside, literally outside, because we'll hear it, because there's space above here. So we're going to get started. If you'd like to continue your conversation, I invite you to exit the building, and you can have it there, and then you can come back. It's great, except if you're a board member, because we do need quorum. So thank you so much. So it is 6:38 p.m. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the April full board meeting for Manhattan Community Board 2. I'm the chair, Valerie Della Rosa, and I'm going to hand it over to our secretary, Emma Smith. Excuse me, if we could just take it down a little bit. I'm going to hand it over to Emma Smith, who's going to do roll call.
Beautiful. Thank you, Valerie. Good evening, folks. One moment, and then... All right, we're ready to start. Susanna Aaron. William Benesh. Keen Berger.
Here.
Gotcha, Keen. Thank you. Carter Booth. Not here yet. Katie Bordenero. Such timing. Thanks, Katie. Anita Brandt. Thank you. Amy Brenna. Rich Cacapolo. Thanks, Susanna. Nina Chen. Valerie De La Rosa.
I'm here.
Thank you. Chris Dignas. Thanks, Chris. Arturo Fernandez. Mara Fitzgerald. Not yet. Stella Fitzgerald is absent with notification. Cormac Flynn. Okay. Susan Gammy. David Gruber. Okay. DJ Jane. Awesome. Hey, DJ. Susan Kent. Ryder Kessler is absent with notification. Janine Kiley. Patricia Laria. I think she was, oh, do you? Okay. I was expecting that. Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Janet Liff. Benjamin Lissman. Ed Ma. I don't see him online yet. Okay, thanks, Mark. Paul McDade. Erica Olson. Brian Pape. Donna Raftery. Lois Rakoff. Bo Riccobono. Sean Ryan is absent with notification. Rocio Sands is absent with notification. Shirley Secunda. Thank you. Eddie Siegel.
Here.
Thanks, Eddie. Got you. Frederica Siegel. Emma Smith, I'm present. Dr. Shirley Smith is absent with notification. Chenault Spence, online yet? I don't think so. Okay. Sean Sweeney. Susan Wittenberg. Anthony Wong. Not here yet? Okay. And Eugene Yu. Thank you. We do have quorum.
Thank you so much. I'm now going to turn over to our first vice chair, Eugene Yu, who is going to run the public session.
Thank you, Valerie. The public session will start. Speakers are reminded they have 2 minutes to speak. There will be a 15-second warning when you're close to your time. I will start with people in the room and then move to people online. So first, we have Lois Rakoff.
Hi, I'm speaking to you. Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you. I'm speaking to you for the Washington Square Music Festival that offers free, open to the public, summer music in Washington Square Park. Thank you. Free music in Washington Square Park starting June 9th, every Tuesday in June. And there's a benefit May 31st at 4:30. This is a benefit which supports the free public music in the park. May 31st at 4:30, there's food and drink, and there are envelopes if you need an envelope, if you want to attend, and it supports union scale musicians, the artists, permits, musical arrangements, chair rentals, private security, techies, the sound, and other management. And so even though it's free to the public in June, you all could come. It's not free for the benefit, and we would appreciate that if you do attend, that you will support. And if you can come, please support the benefit anyway, or the Washington Square Music Festival. And if you're interested, I have invitations, and that's what I have to say.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next we have Greg Miller.
So low. Can I hold it?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Greg Miller from Dance Parade. We have our 20th annual parade coming on May 16th. It's quite exciting because we have 10,000 dancers, 100 unique styles of dance, and all kinds of floats, live music, and DJs. It will be historic. We have the legendary Joan Myers Brown being honored. She's 95 years old, and she's the founder of Philadanco. It's kind of like the Alvin Ailey of Philadelphia. Christine Jowers from Dance Enthusiast, Jeff Selby, who is an amazing hustle dancer. He's brought hustle dance to 60 countries around the world. Are you a hustle dancer? There you go. Awesome. And Timmy Regisford is another Grand Marshal being honored. It goes down 17th Street at 12 o'clock on May 16th. That's a Saturday. 17th is the ribbon cutting. And 25 parade floats, other vehicles, lots of fun to be had. Down to 8th Street and across east to Tompkins Square Park. On the way, there's a grandstand where MCs will announce each group. Danny G from the Joyce Theater will be the MC. And then it goes into the park with 5 stages, all kinds of dance. That goes from 3 o'clock till 7 o'clock. Yes, 6th Avenue, Avenue of the Americas.
Could you get a microphone? Or raise your hand, please.
The question was, does it go across, down 6th Avenue? It does, yeah. We're having a taste of a dance parade, kind of a benefit, but I'd like to invite you all for free. It's in Bushwick on the roof of the Sultan Inn at 6 o'clock next Wednesday, the 29th, which is International Dance Day. And the code, you can go to our website and get a free ticket. The Beat Goes On, which is the theme for the 20th Annual Dance Parade and Festival.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Michael Chiborian. Pardon me. Yeah. Thank you.
If you'd like to do your remarks, we can move this along.
Okay. I probably don't need, I'm pretty loud. You can hear me, right? Okay.
We can hear you.
Hi, my name is Michael, and this is Duke London. He's my service animal. He is here. He makes my life better. He improves the quality of my life. I have PTSD. It doesn't define me, but it is part of who I am. And he makes the quality of my life by the task that he does better every day, every moment, and helps me to have a qualitative life. The reason why I'm here tonight is that many businesses in your district, your restaurants, your bars, your Uber drivers, are not aware of the law in terms of service animals. The experiences I've had, well, could literally fill many pages. But I just want to capsize and tell you that about 70% of the people I've experienced are ignorant of the law of American Disabilities Act, the law by Attorney General Letitia James, that says that service animals have a right to be with their handler and to improve the quality of their life as long as they're task-oriented, and that there are two questions. One is he a service dog? And two, what is the task? And that is it. And the fact that so many people in the hospitality industry and public arenas are not aware of this, whose jobs are responsible for the caring of consumers, and yet my experience is dependent upon whether or not you like a dog. I don't care whether you like a dog or not. I mean, I love him, but the law doesn't care either. The law doesn't have feelings. The law doesn't have an opinion. The law is the law. And I don't know if any of you here are bar owners or restaurant owners. They were at the previous meeting. But you have a stake in it because many of the bars here now are regulated.
15 seconds.
Okay. Regulated to hire companies that are not aware of the law. And so therefore, violence happens, aggressive behavior happens, and then lawsuits happen.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
I do have some suggestions, but they're the last page.
Okay, wonderful.
All right.
Thank you so much. Great. So next we're going to go, we're going to interrupt the public session. And we have, not interrupt, but welcome up here, our Borough President, Brad Hoylman-Siegel.
Good evening. It's good to be home, as I always say. Thank you, Valerie. Hello, board members. Brad Hoylman-Siegel. Just a quick update. Of course, wanted to let you know that we are in the midst of our community board selection process. So Andrew can answer any specific questions, but we did it different than in recent years by having a group of nonprofit leaders review the first round of written applications, kind of like an independent assessment of community boards. We're looking very closely at attendance and answers to your questions, and then that's going to be followed by a series of in-person interviews, probably group interviews similar to last year. But we're well on our way to making those selections. So thank you for everyone who reapplied and to those who are seeking to be new members. I sent a letter recently to the governor and the legislative leaders in Albany about 9/11 and the cleanup that occurred there, trying to determine what the state knew and when did they know it, echoing concerns at the city level that information about 9/11 hasn't been fully released in terms of the health impacts that were known at the time. We also have been communicating with Andy Byford, remember Train Daddy. Of course, you also probably know that he's leading the effort for Donald Trump to redevelop Penn Station. And the problem is we trust Andy Byford, we don't trust Donald Trump. One of the issues that has arisen is that the public has not been shared the request for proposals, the RFP, of what the federal government is seeking from developers who are bidding on the redesign and redevelopment of the busiest train hub in the Western Hemisphere. We think that the public should have some knowledge of that. In fact, we're having a press conference in the next few days to make that case even further. Also, very happy news from Albany to the extent that the budget ever gets finalized. One part of the budget will include a bill that I first advocated back in 2013 called the pied-à-terre tax, which is a fancy, thank you, a fancy French word for a second home. And we think that non-New York City residents who own apartments valued at $5 million or more should pay their fair share of taxes. Most of those are not New York City residents or New York State residents, so those owners don't pay income tax at either the state or the city level, but they take advantage of a lot of our services, including our fire and our police, and everything else that goes with protecting their investment. Let's face it, they're putting money in New York City real estate because it's secure, and we think they should pay a premium on that. So I'm happy to see that the governor's included it in her budget negotiations, so we'll see where that goes. And then I want to mention a new HUD rule. The Department of Housing and Urban Development has a proposed rule, and we've shared this at Borough Board, Valerie knows, that would bar mixed status immigrant households from accessing subsidized rental assistance. That means either NYCHA housing or Section 8 housing. The rule would basically make it force 11,000 New Yorkers, a quarter of whom live in this borough, to make the impossible choice of either remaining in publicly subsidized housing like NYCHA or by kicking out an undocumented family member. And you know, that's obviously unacceptable. Or go homeless, which is even more acceptable. So I'll close with this. You can go online to our website and see the Borough President's Office's response to the Mayor's FY27 preliminary budget. And I hope that, I know you guys do a lot of volunteering, but we've launched a volunteer corps building on my predecessor's volunteer corps, which is going to be pretty important because we want to engage people as we lead up to the World Cup. And thank you, CB2, for sitting down with us virtually recently on the Gansevoort Tower project. A lot of work to be done on that, as you know better than I. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we have some questions from board members. Can we get Amy Brenna a microphone? Thank you.
Can you hear me? Thanks for coming today. About the pied-à-terre tax, I love that idea, but from what I understand, a large number of very expensive apartments, the way they're assessed is by the amount of rent they can get, so that it's not going to bring in the amount of money that they've been saying. And so I guess I'm wondering, it's a great first step, but is the second step to change what sounds like, from my little knowledge of it, a boondoggle for wealthy people?
Well, the assessment is broken. As many of you know, the tax property system is based on adjacent rental properties. So Ken Griffin's, $238 million apartment is assessed at only, quote unquote, 9.4 million because of the broken property tax system. So the governor's team, I assume, is working out how to properly assess these properties. It might be some component of recent sale price as an ingredient in that, but you're absolutely right. And it does point the way toward wholesale property tax reform, and they're going to have to figure that out, because it wouldn't make any sense to continue to undervalue these apartments with this new tax.
Lois.
If the undocumented families are kicked out of their housing, where are the kids, the public school kids that are already established in the area that they could go to school? Where are they going to go to school?
Great question. It's a potential disaster, and that's why we've encouraged all of our colleagues in government and community boards to put forward comment on this proposed rule change. We want to really, jam HUD with as many letters of opposition to the proposed rule as possible, because they're required by law to answer every single letter. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great evening.
Thanks. And now I'm going to turn it back over to our first vice chair, Eugene Yu.
Thank you, Valerie. Next, we have Alex Prichnicki. You already spoke? Alec? No.
Hi, I live in the neighborhood, and I had questions concerning construction on housing on 388 Hudson Street. Several years ago, when the city rolled out this project, there was a meeting of people from the community, and there were several guidelines. One of the guidelines was that we were told that CB2 had requested the maximum amount of housing become available that could be practically built on that site. And the HPD's guideline was that it needs to be financially viable. So on both accounts, it was basically the idea was to build as much as possible. And my position, my feeling is, yes, it should be. We don't have to go over the need for affordable housing, but how is it getting done? Since the actual rollout came of the proposal, there have been a lot of criticisms. They don't like the style, they don't like the size, and especially don't like the height. Even though 2 blocks away, there are 2 large buildings on the St. John's former site that are even larger than what's being proposed for Hudson Street. So the question that I have is, CB2 several years ago requested that the maximum amount of housing be built, and I wanted to find out if that's still the position of CB2, or if there have been ways that CB2 has been interacting with the city to expedite the building, or have, as CB2 been working with people who have complaints, which would slow down production? Or is CB2 just taking a neutral stance at this point, and then without, let the city go ahead and we'll see what happens? So I wanted to find out what's the position of CB2, and more importantly, what actions has CB2 been making recently, both to expedite or to further examine the construction that's planned there. Thank you. Anybody know? Okay,
I would say
Eugene, why don't you address it, Eugene? Do you want to address it, Eugene?
Sure, I can address that. Alec, I would say that if you take a look at our resolutions that the CB2 has passed on 388 Hudson, and there are a number of them to date, our position is stated there. As far as the construction, I think this is very early timing. ULURP isn't scheduled until, I believe, next year. And so construction is at this point years and years away. So it's very premature to talk about construction at this point. Thank you. Okay.
Well, if you'd like, you have a question?
Is there a question? Janine?
At Little Red?
Okay,
I wasn't able to go to all the meetings, and the meetings that I did go to didn't address this question specifically. There were other things on the agenda, so never got a chance to examine this. So basically, I know the resolutions, I know what was in place over the last 2 years. I just wanted to see if there was anything in addition to the resolutions, either speeding it up or slowing it down, depending on what the CB2 is doing right now at this moment.
I don't know, Mark, if you could maybe show where the resolutions are on our website. But as far as meetings, I believe the March Land Use and Housing Committee meeting was on 388 Hudson, so I'd welcome you to watch that presentation. It's available on YouTube, and the entirety of, 90% of that meeting was dedicated to 388 Hudson, and HPD presented at that meeting. So the March Land Use and Housing Committee recording should be on YouTube under the Community Board 2 channel. And I believe Mark is bringing up on our CB2 homepage where the 388 Hudson resolutions are. Okay. While he does that, I'm going to move on and get us to the next speaker, Susanna Aaron.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to remind what am I doing? What do you want me to do?
If you could just continue.
I just wanted to remind everybody that there is a special election next Tuesday, the 28th, for City Council District 3, which is Eric Botcher's old seat. The election is on Tuesday, but early voting happens now and through the weekend, so please just remember to go out and vote.
Thank you, Susanna. All right, next we have Melanie Westlock. I'm seeing some pointing going on.
Okay, if you could just text me or let me know. I'm going to pause the public session and call up Councilmember Epstein, who is stealthily in the back. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
I didn't think I was being so stealth. I was talking to people. I was like hanging out in the back of the class, you know. Hi, good evening, everyone. All right, maybe. Hi, good evening, everyone. How are we doing? It's a beautiful day. It's, you know, springtime. It's like 70 degrees out. Hey, come on, let's enjoying ourselves a little. So, you know, it's been busy in the council, lots going on. Earlier today, we talked about this new construction on 5 East 13th Street. I know you've probably seen this, the foundation coming in for a 30-story, 36 apartment building on 13th. You know, it's really disappointing to see, you know, when we have a housing crisis and an affordable housing crisis, you know, no affordability, 30 stories and only 36 apartments. It's like, we're gonna see more penthouses than you'll see anything else in that. The reality is for the luxury development like that, that's not fixing anyone's housing crisis. We're not gonna see, no one's like, honestly, is anyone really gonna be living there? It's gonna be people who are using it as weekend and vacation rentals for the wealthy. And so it's, I think those are concerning developments where we have a limited space, and we want to make sure that land, at least, if you're not building affordable, and we should be requiring more affordability, at least what we're seeing is housing being built for people in New York, and that's, you know, unfortunately not going to happen there. So there's a lot of work we need to do to try to figure out there's ways to fix things like that, and I'm looking forward to doing that. It's been, over the last month, you know, we've heard a lot about the new intake center, not in CB2, but in CB3, but really on the border. So a month, maybe 6 weeks ago, I got a call that an article is going to be released. You know, I got a call saying the article is getting released, that they're closing the men's shelter on 30th Street, moving it to 3rd in Bowery. You know, I found out basically 8 hours before everyone else found out about it. And so this has been a process we've been talking to the city about. You know, someone who represented the area of 30th Street for many years, I knew that center wasn't a problem. The real question is this an appropriate place for an intake center? You know, 3rd and Bowery is a real residential neighborhood, and you know, the men's shelter had its issues there, but at least it had a shelter, it had mental health services, it had substance abuse centers, it had real wraparound services in that building. And you know, this intake is really people coming in and then going back out, so it's going to increase traffic and flow. And we've been working with DHS to try to get in front of it, to make sure they're doing whatever they can to first we asked them to look for alternative sites, which they said no to. And then we really focused on how we're going to make this better, and that's really what we've been doing over the last couple weeks. We had a town hall maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't, 2 weeks ago. We had a couple hundred people come and just try to push DHS and DSS to do the right thing. And that's really, I think, our responsibility. There was a lawsuit that was filed earlier this week and got to stay until the court date on May 7th. So they won't be opening on May 1st, but we don't know what the judge is going to say on May 7th. So in theory, they could really open on May 8th if the stay is lifted. And so our responsibility and your responsibility, hopefully, as a board is really to work with CB3 to make sure the things we've been talking about is actually happening. Making sure they're doing, when there's DHS police, that they're doing perimeter patrols, that people aren't just hanging out in the neighborhood, or people are moving on. They need support. We want people to get help. That's what we want. But we also don't want a problem in the community that could be fixed with real government oversight and involvement. We've been working with the 9th Precinct. They've put a plan together to deal with the response. When we had people remember when the height of the migrant crisis on 7th and B, we had the reticketing center. And what we worked out, it took us about a year, but we worked out with the 9th Precinct and One Police Plaza a real plan to manage the situation instead of having hundreds of people just sitting on the corner and kind of issues that we were trying to resolve. We were able to work on that. And that's hopefully what I've talked to the 9th Precinct about is learned experiences from that experience to do this better. And I feel confidence in the 9th Precinct. We just need to see if we have confidence in DHS and DSS, and it's unclear yet if they're going to follow through on what they've told us they're doing. They have put an email out. They have a 24-hour number available that's, now it's live. We can share it with the board office if people have it. So if people have concerns, they should be reaching out to our office or directly to DSS. So I just want to flag that because I know it's not here, but I know it impacts both neighborhoods. Earth Day this week, so hopefully people did some kind things to the planet. I dug in some dirt and volunteered with some people. We're doing another tree care event tomorrow. If people want to join us on the east side. We had some Earth Day events scheduled for the weekend, but I think the rain got in our way, so we're going to have to cancel those, unfortunately, for Saturday and Sunday, but some of that will get rescheduled. On the council budget side, the mayor will be introducing his executive budget on next Friday, May 1st. And then in May, we'll be going to ongoing hearings on budget hearings. The problem is, as our state colleagues know, is because the state hasn't finished their budget, it just creates a problem for us on the city to figure out how much revenue we're actually going to have, because a good chunk of our revenue comes from the state. The governor has made some commitments about childcare and a new tax, the pied-à-terre tax, and other revenue sources, but until the budget's done, it's going to be hard for the mayor to give us a budget that we can actually move forward on. But expectations are we're going to have hearings around it and be able to move forward. Last thing I'll talk about is we have a hearing next week on kind of insurance issues. We spent a lot of time, I chair the Committee on Consumer Worker Protection, and we've heard a lot about insurance issues, so we'll be having a hearing on the 29th to discuss that, and we'll figure we have some legislative ideas to be able to fix it on the city level. So if people want to come to City Hall and testify at a hearing, it's always open to the public, and we'd always love the board to comment and be involved with us and be engaged. So that's what's going on, and our budget hearing, for at least from my committee, is May 13th. If people want to come to that, you're always welcome. And when there are issues, we try to be really open and collaborative. I think as your chair and your district manager, I think our job is really to hear feedback directly from you. And so what we're going to continue to do is work in that collaborative spirit. So again, if there are things you need, let us know. Oh, there's one thing I'll flag that this 24-hour year-round dining issue has been out there for a while, and we've reached out to the board, got some feedback. We may propose edits to the sponsor of the bill. I don't expect that bill to be moving forward in the next couple of weeks, so if there are things that you guys still want to see changed, I think and the speaker really pushed for wanting to have year-round dining. We've been pushing a lot on the hours, as well as the open street hours, making sure things outside at least close at 10 instead of midnight. I think we've gotten some positive feedback. We also got positive feedback that board stipulations should have some meaning. If they have meaning at the SLA, I don't know why DOT can't honor the same stipulations. And so I think there's a lot hopefully we can get out of that final bill. that gets us what we want. I do have concerns around, especially like a winter we had, that if someone has a outdoor dining shed that's made of wood that can't be moved and there's 2 feet of snow that falls, what the impact will have, or they need to grind the street and no one's moving the shed. Those are things that we're still working through with the sponsor, but hopefully we'll get to a good bill in the end. But my expectation is it's not coming in the next couple of weeks. All right, then now I'm done. So if you want me to answer a question, I'm happy to. If you don't, you know.
Sure, of course. I can see that Keen has her hand up on Zoom.
Right. So Harvey, I've heard things about detention centers. Do we have any detention centers this weekend that we're supposed to protest against in our area? You would know.
Yeah, not that we've heard that in our area. But Keen, anytime you want to join me for a protest, I'm on board, but not that I know if this the weekend.
Right, right. As you might know, unfortunately, I broke my pelvis, so I can't join you, but I want to know if
Yeah.
I have to
Well, a lot of
send.
things we can do. You know, there are a lot of ways that we all, at different stages of our lives and different moments, you know, can help out and get involved.
Thank you.
I see 2 people over here, Will and Katie each have their hand up, so if we could get them a microphone, we could move this along. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Councilmember. Just had a quick question.
Yeah, Harvey's easy about it.
Harvey, thanks,
Yeah,
Harvey.
yeah.
You mentioned an opportunity to testify on something related to insurance. Is that a specific type of insurance, specific topic, or is there a page somewhere I can go to?
Yeah, so if you go to the City Council website page, and if you look for the hearing that we're having on the 29th, there'll be a list of all bills that we're talking about. We did an oversight hearing last year and pushed in legislation around transparency in billing, and we're trying to just expand on some of that right now because we've heard a lot of feedback around consumer-related issues related to insurance.
Okay, I'll try to find it.
Oh, Monica's great at helping.
Thank you.
But if you just write New York City Council and you go to the legislation page, it's just right there.
I wanted to go back to 5 West 13th Street.
Yeah.
Or whatever number West 14th Street it is. In June 2024, I think it was, representatives of DCP told CB2 that this building, this tower could not be built under the City of Yes requirements. And since then, we know there's been a challenge with the DOB, and the DOB has approved it. But is there something that the City Council can do to limit, prevent this from happening in another site, since we were told that it's really not allowed under the City of Yes legislation?
So we reached out to Department of Buildings and we filed an objection. We were denied. Then we reached out to DCP and said, we think there would maybe a technical mistake here, and can it be fixed because, this is not what we were told was being envisioned under the City of Yes. And the response was, this is exactly what we thought was going to be envisioned of the City Yes. It is squarely within the formula that we did, and so there are no technical corrections. So, I wasn't in the council last year, so I can't comment on what happened, but is exactly that. So can we go back and try to make some changes? We would need the mayor's support for that, and that's what we're trying to move forward on now, and that's the conversation we were having today at the rally and the conversation we're going to continue. And if the board wanted to write a resolution at some point and saying, in response to what's happening, now the foundation's going in, this is not the type of development we'd like to see in the neighborhood, and then maybe we need to make some changes to the zoning to prevent these, no affordable needle buildings that are just building penthouses for the ultra wealthy. I would love to have a resolution like that. I could take that and then kind of try to push that up the chain to the mayor's office.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sean and then Mar.
Yeah, hi, Harvey.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah, I don't want to go into the details now, but I just want to bring it to your attention that along the entire length of Houston Street from the East River to the Hudson River, every intersection has a red light or a green, whatever you want to call it, a traffic light, except one. on Houston and Worcester.
Right.
And it's really dangerous, and and I put it up to the community board here a couple of years ago, and DOT said, we'll take, and we're waiting 2 or 3 years now, and Chris is behind it. I just want to bring it to your attention, maybe a letter from both of you to
Sure.
DOT telling them to speed this up.
Do you guys have a resolution on it? Yeah, if you send it to me, Janine, then what I'll do is we'll work, or send it to Monica, because I don't really do any work. She does all the work. I actually do work, I'm just joking. But send it to Monica and me, and then what we can do is work with Chris's office to write a letter to DOT, asking them to do a study and give us the information about whether, why, if they don't think it's needed, what, based on the traffic standards, they don't. There's all these federal traffic standards, and the volume is always, but on that intersection, I hear what you're saying, there's a lot of volume, so I don't know why they would argue it's not necessary, but.
Ironically, they're putting one on a house on Crosby and Prince where no one asked for it, a red light, which doesn't need it, and this is a really dangerous intersection, so it's just bureaucracy.
Yeah, I think we'll totally talk to DOT about it and see what we can get it.
Mar?
I just want to say thank you for Intro 813. It is a much-needed bill to address illicit cannabis operators, particularly in our district when there are so many tobacco licensed shops that are also selling other things for which they are not licensed. And we look forward to hearing the progress on that. So bravo. Thank you, Harvey.
Yeah, so last week we introduced a bill, which is basically what Mar just said, that basically the city has control of people's tobacco licenses. And when they have a tobacco license and they sell illegal cannabis, there wasn't a provision within the city law that allowed us to revoke that tobacco license. So I've introduced a bill last week that got around quickly, I guess, that now requires the city to revoke the tobacco license, which is a really powerful tool that we would have to shut down a lot of these illegal cannabis stores. And like, I, as a former state legislator, advocated and fought for legalizing marijuana because we wanted to support the legal market. This is an illegal market that undermines the legal market, and we want to make sure that we can do what we can to undermine the illegal market, and one way to do that is to threaten their tobacco license.
Lois?
Thank you. Going back to the men's shelter.
Yeah.
When I was the chair for Bellevue Cab,
Yeah.
we toured the men's shelter, the building. It's
Yes.
beautiful, totally beautiful.
Yes.
So the asset was that the men can, and the families can visit the men, can go to Bellevue for treatment
Right.
and support groups. So now that they're on Bowery and East 3rd,
Yeah.
will there be shuttle vans to take them to Bellevue for all their emotional, mental, and physical needs?
It's a good question. And so let's distinguish between what was happening on 30th and 1st and what's happening at 3rd and Bowery. 30th and 1st was an intake center as well as an 800-bed men's shelter. What's happening on 3rd and Bowery is an intake center without a full-time shelter. What they do have is they'll have overnight beds for single adults, and they will have other beds for people to stay up to 20 days, which is families with adult families. This is not a shelter for where people are staying. This is a place where people are mostly going in, doing intake, and then finding a shelter someplace else. There will be an Oasis drug treatment program that continues to operate there. We fought hard to keep the Oasis program there. There will also be a mental health services in the building, as well as other nonprofit services, which we're working right now with DSS to ensure that exist. But this is not going to be a shelter, what you think traditionally a shelter, where there's people are staying for extended periods of time. This is really just going to be intake. And especially on the single adult side, the reason they have 70 beds there is because if someone comes in at 9 o'clock at night and they say, I'm homeless, and they spend 2 hours going through intake, they're not sending them to a shelter that night. They're going to let them sleep overnight there in one of those 70 beds, and then in the morning, give them a Metro card or in a other transport way, depending on the physical needs, to get to that shelter. So it's going to operate very differently. Whether, Bowery Residence Committee had, they had 200, 400 people staying there long-term in that shelter, that we're going to see a real change in operation. We're not going to see people staying there, which may or may not impact the drug trade there. We've had a real drug problem on that area, as well as Sarah Delano Roosevelt Park. Since people are not staying, it may make the drug situation better, but it may make it worse. We don't know yet, and that's why we want DHS to play an active role along with the 9th Precinct to try to prevent the drug dealing from expanding in that area. But it is not going to be a shelter as we think of traditional shelter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Salud.
Great. No other questions?
Thank you all. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Enjoy the spring.
I'm going to turn it back over. Okay, turn it back over to our first vice chair.
Thank you, Valerie. Okay, we'll continue with the public session. Melanie Westlock, is Melanie in the room? No? Okay. I'll move to online then. If we could get Andrew Berman promoted. Andrew Berman. I don't see him online. Oh, you don't? I do not. Okay. All right. If there are any other speakers that wish to speak that didn't fill out a form or sign up online, you can raise your hand. If not, then I'll conclude the public session.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So now I will ask for a motion to adopt the agenda. Okay, so I have Lois and Susan Gammy. Thank you. And then we will go to elected official reports for the representatives that are here in the room. If you could get a microphone.
Here you go.
Sorry about this. I just wanted to let you guys know that Assemblymember Grace Lee will be here shortly, about 10 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
then
it will
we'll-
be possible for her to speak when she gets here, is that all right?
That's great.
Perfect. Thank you so
Sure.
much. Sorry
Okay.
about this.
Is there any other elected representatives in the room? I saw, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't see behind the column. Hi, Connor. Yeah, Nicole and Lane. Great. Two minutes.
Yes, all right.
Great.
Hi, everybody. It's Connor from Councilmember Christopher Marte's office. Just a couple things. So last week, for the last week, we've had 15 home care workers who have been on hunger strike outside City Hall demanding the City Council pass Councilmember Marte's No More 24 Act. Thankfully, today the workers were able to announce they're pausing the hunger strike since Speaker Menon has committed to passing the bill in May. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully that does end up happening. Last week, we also reintroduced a number of bills, including legislation to increase school gardens citywide, also to require anti-discrimination training and resources for senior center staff, and a bill to require any DSA-NY violations to have photo evidence. Coming up May 6th, Wednesday, May 6th at 10, the Council's Transportation Committee will be having a hearing on our bill Intro 825, which would allow Fair Fares card recipients to receive more than just one chance to replace their lost and stolen card. We've had a number of issues where people have already had it replaced once, and then if they lose it again, there's just no option. So it's just like kind of I think it's just a missed piece of legislation that we're hoping to fill through this bill. So the hearing will be coming up on May, and hopefully we can pass it soon after that. Participatory budgeting is wrapping up, so we haven't counted the full ballot list, but we received almost 1,000 online votes as well as a couple thousand in person. So we'll make sure to let everyone know when votes have tallied and we can announce a winner. And then other things, DSNY will be expanding their trash containerization efforts, and one of those things is including these bins in 6 new districts, including CB2. This is something that the council member advocated for, so we're excited for this to happen. It's for buildings that are 30 units or more. We'll be getting these bins from the Department of Sanitation instead of just having to provide them themselves. So we're very excited for that. I'm also happy to announce that after months of advocacy, the LPC voted to not approve the demolition of 139 Thompson Street. and instead work with the owner to preserve the plan against the owner's wishes. So we're very excited about that. Thank you. Yeah, the council member was, no, it's actually, we were very surprised and very excited. The council member testified at the hearing. We also wrote a letter. You know, this building had at least 12 rent stabilized units in it before they were vacated. So hopefully they can return to a rent stabilized building. And then lastly, we will be sponsoring a street co-naming. This isn't in CB2, but it's still exciting, at Delancey and Essex Streets to commemorate Jack Kirby, who was a comic book artist who came up with a lot of Marvel superheroes that you know today, especially commemorating his creation of The Thing, which the character of The Thing was a Jewish person who grew up on the Lower East Side. He grew up on Yancey Street, which is a play on Delancey Street. And this is also where Jack Kirby grew up as well. So we're very excited. It'll be Delancey when it meets Essex. And that will be on May 11th at the intersection. So anyone and everyone is welcome to join that. Any questions? Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Nice to see you all. Just a few quick updates from Assemblymember Glick's office. So as everyone knows, and the borough president spoke about earlier, thanks. Yeah, I'm not caught. Yeah, exactly. Loading, sorry. Thanks, Mark. Okay, thanks, Mark. The state budget is still ongoing, and Assemblymember Glick was very happy to see that the pied-à-terre tax she fought for many years with the borough president when he was a state senator, was picked up by the governor in the budget. So, really looking forward to seeing that in the budget, hopefully. And then as we were mentioning earlier, Earth Day was this week. So the 15th annual I Love My Park Day is the largest single day volunteer event. And that's on Saturday, May 2nd. So if you're interested in doing some, work in your local park, planting trees, mulching playgrounds, that information is in the board report. So anyway, thanks so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Nicole Barth from Senator Eric Botcher's office. Look, I'm going farther down. I just wanted to let you know, I'm sorry I haven't been here for a while. I'm now the CB2 and the CB4 person, so there's a lot more meetings. I wanted to share some legislation. Let me know if you can hear me. Very exciting, I think I got it. I hope. Famous last words. Okay. Assemblymember Keith Powers and Senator Botcher together again after being council members together. They just unveiled landmark legislation, kind of carrying over from their council time, that would require graphic imagery to be displayed in gun stores, which illustrate the lethal risks of guns in the home, and the imagery would also be required to accompany firearm licensing notices. I'm going to go through a lot of them. If you have questions, you can ask me. We've had a lot going on for the past couple of months. I'm sure the Village will be very happy to learn this, but Senator Botcher teamed up with Assemblymember Grace Lee, and they just unveiled the Tear Down Tax Act. And basically that's taking multifamily apartment buildings that are purchased, emptied out, and converted into single-family mansions. The bill would impose a $10,000 surcharge for every housing unit that is eliminated and not replaced. It is a simple idea. It has a clear purpose. If housing is permanently taken off the market, there must be accountability. Yay! Yay! I just want to let you know, Eric is up in Albany most of the week. Everything is going well. As you know, the budget has not been finalized yet. Oh my gosh. He's been invited by Senator Liz Krueger to join the New York State bipartisan pro-choice legislation. And the senator was also joined the mayor for signing of an executive order establishing the first ever mayor's office of LGBTQ plus affairs. I just wanted to let you know that the senator has co-sponsored New York for All. He's also co-sponsored New York Health Act. He reintroduced, it was Brad Holman Siegel's original legislation, Francesca Law, which is also to strengthen safety gun storage regulations, and also reintroduced the Manhattan Borough President's legislation on scaffolding. Just lastly, City One, he's the chair of City One, which basically oversees all the legislative changes that apply to New York City. And I just want to say, get better soon, Keen.
Okay. Great, thank you so much. All right, and I guess whenever Assemblymember Lee gets here, we can, oh, Sharif is online, okay. Sharif? Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
Hi.
Good, nice to see you.
Yeah, good to be. It's bizarre to call in, and I'm sorry I'm not there in person. I'm missing you all. But I hope everyone's enjoying the lovely weather today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sharif Krabti. I'm a community affairs liaison and legislative aide for State Senator Brian Kavanaugh. Just some quick updates for our community side. We hosted a couple. We did a mobile legal clinic with NILAG this past month, and we also did some mobile office hours on the Lower East Side. We're going to be planning more events throughout the district. If anyone's interested in something specifically in CB2, please reach out to me. Let me know if you're, if there's specific needs or things that you want us to do. And I'll also just add, we've been involved with some of the efforts that the council member mentioned earlier around the DHS relocation of services with the town hall, as well as a letter that we sent to DHS last week. And then, as people already mentioned, the state budget is a little late. It's 3 weeks late now, but it doesn't mean that we're stopping with legislative work. And I'm really pleased to announce and happy to announce that the Assembly passed the Food Safety and Chemical Disclosure Act this week, which is a really great victory. We already passed in the Senate on March 23rd. But this legislation it's really a landmark piece of legislation. It's requiring the food industry to show their work and provide evidence of safety to state regulators, and is closing a loophole with generally recognized as safe ingredients called GRAS. It also bans a couple of potentially harmful chemicals, which include red dye number 3, which has been linked to cancer and behavioral problems in children, potassium bromate linked to cancer and thyroid disease, and this last one, propylparaben. I think I actually got that right. Linked to hormone and reproductive system harm. So this is just following the work that's already been done in other states like California and the European Union. So we're taking steps to ban those additives and to make sure there's more transparency in the food that we eat. So really pleased to announce that victory. And if you have any other questions, happy to take them.
I don't see any hands in the room from board members or on Zoom. Thank you so much, Sharif.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. And we already had the borough president's report, so I will go to the chair's report. And just give me 1 second. Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to continue serving as chair of Community Board 2. Over the past year, we've done serious work together that reflects both the complexity of this district. Oh, okay, I'm gonna pause my report, and we're gonna go to Assemblymember Grace Lee, and then I will come back.
All right, good evening, everyone. Sorry, running around a little bit today, but great to see all of you. I think that Senator Bottcher's team already spoke about the Tear Down Tax Act that we introduced recently, but want to just bring it up again that it's a bill that was inspired by a $70 million home sale in the West Village, which was a roll-up of 2 buildings, one of which had was a six-unit multifamily apartment building. And so the idea is that, obviously, we can't necessarily stop these deals, but they should be able to give something back to the community when they're doing this, because they're taking out residents, they're taking out housing. And through these types of roll-ups, actually, New York City has lost 9,000 units from the housing market as a result of these mega mansion roll-ups. So this is our way of trying to get something back to the community. Any of the money from the surcharge that we would be, from the Tear Down Tax Act would actually go towards the Historic Preservation Grant Fund from the Landmarks Preservation Commission. So we think it's a great way to help support existing preservation within our neighborhoods as well. One other thing, a few other things, we still do not have a state budget. We have a lot going on, many negotiations around policy, but I wanted to highlight one thing that Senator Brian Kavanaugh and I have been fighting very hard for, along with Assemblymember Deborah Glick, and that is expanding the eligibility for SCREE and DREE. The last time that SCREE and DREE, the threshold for eligibility was changed was in 2014. And that is now a $15,000 income cap for anyone who wants to participate, so that we can freeze the rents for seniors and people with disabilities. We are now trying to increase that threshold of eligibility to $75,000 in this year's budget, and tag it to inflation. So we don't need to continue to have this argument about where the level should be, and it doesn't take us another 10 years to increase the level. But this would expand the eligibility for a huge swath of seniors and New Yorkers with disabilities to have their rent frozen. Along with that, we are trying to push also for SHE and D, which is similar programs for seniors and people with disabilities who are homeowners. And this would also provide property tax relief for homeowners who are seniors or people with disabilities in New York, all across the city and also across the state. So those are something that we are going to continue to be talking about. We're really hoping that we can get it in the budget this year. And finally, I have a clergy tax exemption bill, which was inspired by something that came to some rabbis on the Lower East Side, who told me about this property tax exemption that clergy can receive if they live in a condo or if they live in a single family home, but they cannot participate if they live in a co-op. So Senator Kavanaugh and I have a bill that would allow clergy who live in co-op buildings to participate in this property tax exemption. It would authorize, it would provide authorization to the city to be able to implement this. But as I've been having conversations and sharing this bill, I'm learning about a number of clergy who live all across Lower Manhattan and could really benefit from this property tax exemption. So I'm really excited to move that. It just passed through committee in the Assembly and the Senate, and hoping to get it to the floor soon and pass it into law. Great. Any questions?
Katie, can we get Katie a microphone?
I know we met on Saturday
Yes.
when I was without my mask, so I remind you of that. And I'm so grateful that we got to talk about SCREE and DREE. Now, the governor put the $75,000 cap in her executive budget. And how do you feel the conversations are going about COLA with her? Because that's an important companion to this, and she didn't include it voluntarily. So do you have any feedback on how that's going to work for the SCREE and DREE?
Well, the legislators are very committed to trying to get it into the budget, but we haven't had any conversations on it yet because we have been held up on some other policy issues around the CLCPA, auto insurance, and SECRA right now. So we haven't gotten to kind of the substance of some of those policies, but we're looking forward to having those soon, hopefully.
Fingers crossed then.
But there's a lot of us pushing for it, and I want to give a big shout out to Senator Kavanaugh and Assemblymember Deborah Glick, who have been really pushing for this for a number of years now.
And Assemblymember Ali, it's the senior citizen rent increase exemption is
Yes.
SCREE, and then could you talk about what the other one is, just so everyone knows in case there's newer?
I think it's this disability, I don't know, actually.
Okay.
It's for New Yorkers with disabilities.
Okay, great.
But the D is for
thank-
disabilities.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, perfect, thanks. Just in case there were questions. Okay, any other? Okay, can we get a microphone? Okay, you got one? Nina?
Could you speak to the negotiation on CLCPA, please?
So the negotiations around CLCPA were initiated because of a lawsuit by some environmental advocates who are saying that the governor was not pushing, taking steps to meet the regulations that were passed through the CLCPA, the goals that were set by the CLCPA. What the governor has been trying to do is to move the goalpost on CLCPA so that she can meet them a little bit more easily. We are willing to have some negotiations, discussions around the CLCPA, but there are some fundamental issues that we do not agree on right now. The legislature, we cannot connect on right now between the legislature and the governor. One of those things is about when she is going to present the regs for cap and invest, which is, as you know, for many of you, if you don't know, is a really important way that we are going to help to fund infrastructure for renewable energy through this program. And so, these are some of the conversations we are having right now. We are really pushing to get cap and invest implemented sooner. And also, there's a lot of things that she wants to change, but there's also some accounting methodology around methane that she wants to change as well, that the legislature is not in agreement on. So we could talk more offline. It starts to get a little bit more technical. Yeah.
Thank you for holding the line on CLCPA and for cap and invest to come.
Thank you, yes. I mean, I think this is a time when we need to be doubling down and investing more in renewable energy projects. And so rather than backing away from them, especially given what we've seen with the Middle East conflict and how that's affected gas prices and fuel prices, this is a time for us to become more renewable energy reliant.
Great, thank you. Thank you for being with us this evening, Assemblymember Lee.
Great to see you all.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks. Okay, so now we'll go back. I'll just go back through the chair's report. So I want to thank all of you for your time, your preparation, and your commitment to the public interest. As we begin this new term, I want to set a clear tone. This board operates at its best when we are grounded in good governance, when our work is structured, disciplined, and carried out through the processes that give it legitimacy. And that means a couple of things. So first, our process matters, right? Our committees and deliberation exist for a reason, and our positions should come through the board's established channels. Concerns or complaints about the board, its committees, or its procedures should be directed through the district manager, the board office, or the chair. Those are the appropriate avenues for a complaint to be recognized and actioned on by the board. And that ensures that when we speak, we do so with clarity and authority. Second, we need to be coordinated in how we engage externally. Our effectiveness depends on being a credible and consistent voice with the city, with city agencies, elected officials, and the public, and that requires alignment. So when communication happens outside of that structure, it creates confusion and weakens the board's position. So this includes, speaking on a panel using your CB2 leadership title, just please copy the board office, district manager, and if you're asking a city agency staff member or elected official to take an action on behalf of the board, please copy the district manager and the board chair. Third, our standards must be consistent. Whether we are reviewing a landmarks application, a street activity application, or any other licensing matter, the expectation is that our decisions are grounded in the same principles of fairness, transparency, and impact. And that consistency is what builds trust and will continue to build that trust over time. Fourth, our work must reflect equity and fairness. Community Board 2 serves a diverse set of neighborhoods and communities, and good governance requires that we consider how our decisions impact different groups, particularly those who have historically been underrepresented in our planning and land use processes. That doesn't change our standards, it strengthens them. And that means being thoughtful, transparent, and consistent in how we weigh impact across the district. And lastly, we have to remain focused on the work itself. This is a high volume, high impact district. There is real pressure on our public spaces, on our built environment, and on the people who live and work here. Our role is to approach that with seriousness, not distraction, and to stay focused on outcomes. As we get to the business session, you'll see that this month's committee work reflects what that looks like in practice. You know, in landmarks, there's resolutions that are addressing, appropriate restoration while drawing a clear line where proposals compromise historic integrity. In parks, we address meaningful public programming that enhances shared space. And in street activities, we continue to manage a significant volume of applications with a focus on protecting quality of life and public access, especially because a lot of the times that is the only venue for the public to comment on those type of activities. So that is the standard. And looking ahead, we are entering a period of transition with term limits on the horizon, and that makes it even more important that we reinforce how this board functions and that we are not only making strong decisions, but doing so in a way that reflects strong governance. And finally, I'll say this. I know I'm getting to the end of this. The credibility of this board is one of its most important assets, and it's built over time, and it depends how we conduct ourselves individually and collectively. And it's all recorded on YouTube, as we all know. If we stay grounded in good governance, aligned in our process, and focus on the public interest, this board will continue to be a respected and effective voice. I hope that you will join me in meeting this standard as we work through the work that we do together. Thank you. I'm now going to turn it over to our treasurer. You have a question? Okay.
I'm just going to move to the side. And I ask this with all due respect. What is the process when we are missing committees, right? We don't have our education and our human services committees. So what is the process for resolutions on those topics when those committees don't exist?
So they have, as I've mentioned, I think 2 times in my past reports and also at executive committee, we are having a training, a conflict resolution training. When I say we, that is the executive committee. And so once that is complete, we will have the restoration of the joint, what is now the Education and Human Services Committee. So I thank everyone who has served on those committees for their patience as we work through this process together with the leadership team. Thank you.
And in the meanwhile, what avenues should we proceed with?
This training is happening next month, so you could just hold on just a little bit. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
If, in the meantime, if there's a resolution or something, should we bring it to exec if it's relating to
Yes.
either of those issues?
We've been handling, yes. I'm sorry, is there some sort of feedback? Yes.
Am I up?
It's actually Anthony.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, this quarter's treasurer's report. Just updates to our regular expenses. The only big notation is that our budget for equipment and software is over our set $5,000 amount because we just recently updated some computers. And we're still expected to spend around $78,000 for the rest of the fiscal year. And that's the latest report. Yep. Questions? Thank you.
Thanks. All right, next, Mark, District Manager's report.
All right, well, I was going to mention that Mr. Ma is on, but I guess we now found him, so that's great. Thank you. Please help me thank NYU once again for this great space. I think Valentine, are you listening? Valentine's actually listening at home, so thank you, Valentine, as well as Dorothy and Arlene, who are always our shepherds through this. Thank you, John. The audio works, and we do not take it for granted. I've reported to you previously about the Office of Mass Engagement and how there wasn't a Manhattan representative. There is now. I heard from him today, and I'm having coffee with him next week, so hopefully we will have a path forward, because one of the first things we're going to pitch to the Office of Mass Engagement is the reinvigoration of the Village Interagency Task Force, which was previously coordinated by the Community Affairs Unit, which, as you know, died on January 1st. You've probably heard a lot about FIFA and the World Cup, and I'm happy to talk offline about that. Things are moving very fast. This board had outreach from the State Liquor Authority about how to proceed with one-day permits and so forth. There is a real push from all sides to assist businesses in capitalizing on the opportunities that are presented by the World Cup. And that includes a lot of our stipulations being waived for certain periods of time. The thing that I heard just today is that apparently there is some understanding among restaurateurs that community boards can grant a waiver of the open container law. And apparently it's district managers, so I just got the launch codes. I don't know. Anyway, Susan Stetzer brought it to my attention because somebody contacted her saying, in effect, sign here. I guess we're not going to sell, based on the transparency obligations of the board, we won't sell it to the highest bidder, but we'll see what happens with this. Anyway, stay tuned, but this is moving very fast, and there's a real push. If you feel those hands behind you, it's not imaginary. The Village Interagency Task Force is moving along. The part that deals with people in, vulnerable people in need has been meeting regularly with service providers and the outreach teams and so forth. That is working its way through. The part that deals with, potholes and infrastructure problems is trying to coordinate. I'm going to try to use my district service cabinet as a way to sort of corral the agencies that we need in order to have meaningful addressing of those issues that don't rise to the level of the other half of the task force. A quick note that the New York City's first ever preliminary racial equity plan was released just in the last week or two. It is formidable. It is very complete and comprehensive. It covers like 375 pages. Yes, we're in there. And we look forward to how that's going to be rolled out in terms of how that impacts our work. Fair warning that I'm getting back on my annoying habit of calling out after-hours variances. We had an example on Hudson Street, I believe, or Greenwich Street, with an after-hours variance that didn't start until 6 o'clock at night. Well, now there's another one at the Scholastic Building on Mercer Street. They work from 6 to 2, and this is not like they do it in public schools because the kids are in school, so they don't run the jackhammer during testing time. The Department of Buildings had a training, we attended it, great swag, and we raised these issues, the district managers raised these issues with them, and they basically sort of shrugged their shoulders and said, yes, that you click a mouse and you get the after-hours variance, and it has real impact on real people, so we're going to keep trying to push on this. I have a note to thank once again the Manhattan Borough President's Office. both for the attention of the borough president himself with district managers, not just with chairs and so forth. It's really great to have his ear from our little perspective, and with respect to the staff who have made themselves really available to all of us district managers. So we're grateful for that. And the borough president himself dealt with the process for reappointment. So that is my report, unless there are questions.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to pass it over to our first vice chair, Eugene Yu, who's going to reopen the public session.
Okay, thank you, Valerie. So we're going to reopen the public session for one speaker who is now here, Melanie Weislaw.
I apologize for being late. I am a new business owner, so every day is like a shock to me. I am the proud owner. My family owns the Pizza Box on Bleecker Street. We're at 176. As you all know, used to be the Pizza Box. We're a different Pizza Box, but it's fate, and we're very blessed to be there. I'm here as a family business owner, a small business owner. We are not a restaurant group. We put our entire life savings into this business. We all work 16-hour days. I'm a photographer by trade. My husband works at a bank. My son is a full-time student. We are passionate about this community. My first apartment was on Bleecker and Sullivan. My first restaurant is there. So we chose this. I didn't open up on the Upper West Side where I lived. I chose this community for a reason. That being said, I pay $20,000 a month in rent. That's public knowledge, for the pleasure of being robbed on a daily basis. And that's why I'm here. My tip jar is apparently public to everybody on Bleecker Street, whether they come and speak or not. I'm here because that's why I ran over, because it's very important. It's craziness to me. Same guy, 3 days apart, came in, grabbing at my tip jar off of my counter. The same guy. I have video and I send it over to the 6th precinct. It's great, they're reactive. I send over immediately within 5 minutes. My husband's in a cop car. They're looking around the park. The same guy. Then you've got Tiger, who lives on Bleecker Street, now has a girlfriend. He is usually pretty passive, but last week he got into a fight with 2 of my customers, coming in, growling and scaring the crap. I have customers running in off the street, people running in looking for shelter in the Pizza Box. It's a huge problem. Okay, I'm a compassionate person. I do homeless outreach. I do the Hope Count every year. This isn't me saying, oh, it's not in my doorstep, but I have young employees. My entire staff is comprised of high school students and college students, and if I was their parent, I would not let them work at the Pizza Box. How is that fair to me? So I now have a tip jar that's bolted down, super enclosed. I have an alarm system with a security light that you press the button and it makes a visual and an audible sound, but a real criminal is not going to be deterred by that. So I'm asking whoever, I understand you've heard this from multiple people at different times, but we're open 7.5 months and we've had at least 15 people come in and steal from us. Money, okay, not sodas, but we're constantly chasing people. I had a girl doing crack in my bathroom. It's a huge problem. So I just want to say, please come see the Pizza Box. We're a family business. We appreciate your support. We have live music tonight, trivia on Tuesdays, but I am grateful to this board. I'm grateful to the community, and I have to say the 6th precinct cares about us, okay? They're incredible. Lieutenant Tabrone, then you have Josh Connaught. These are people, I know their names because they come in every single time they work, they stop in. So it's a great community. I just really am begging for support. I cannot, it's unsustainable for $20,000 a month. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'll turn it back over to Valerie.
Great,
Continue with the-
and I'm going to now turn it over to, as we're going to start our business session, I'm going to turn over to our secretary, Emma Smith. And Melanie, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Yeah, and if you could connect with our district manager, that's the person to speak with. Thanks.
All right, thanks everyone. We will go do our next roll call vote, or not vote, roll call, boy. Susanna Aaron. Oh, sorry, just roll call, you're here, I got you. Will Banesh, Keen Berger,
Here.
Thanks, Keen, I got you. Carter Booth, Katie Bordenaro, Anita Brandt, Amy Brenna, Rich Cacapolo, Nina Chen, Valerie De La Rosa,
Here.
Chris Dignas, Arturo Fernandez, Mara Fitzgerald, Cormac Flynn. Here yet? Okay. Susan Gammy, David Gruber, DJ Jane, Susan Kent, Janine Kiley, Patricia Laria. You still online? Okay. Oh, great. Thanks, Patricia. I can't see that. Janet Liff, Benjamin Listman, Ed Ma. Ed, I saw you join. Okay.
If we could vocalize online with your vote or your presence, that's helpful because we can't see the chat.
Yeah, sorry, folks. My vision's not good enough, but that's okay. I'll check in a second. Paul McDade, Erica Olson, Brian Page.
Yes, Edma.
Thank you, Mr. Ma.
Thank you. 他说听到，还听懂了。
Donna Raftery, Lois Rakoff, Bo Riccobono, Shirley Secunda, Eddie Siegel.
Here.
Thanks, Eddie. Frederica Siegel, Emma Smith, I'm present. Chenault Spence.
Here.
Thanks, Chenault. Sean Sweeney. Susan Wittenberg. Anthony Wong. Eugene Yu. Thank you, folks. We still have quorum.
Thank you so much. So now we'll go, going to look for approval for the March full board minutes. Okay, so we have first and a second. I saw Anita and I saw, okay.
There was a late correction to the landmarks vote counts in the minutes. It is now correct on the website and on the
What
drive.
was the change?
There, we did not catch that there was one dissenting vote in each of the landmarks votes in March.
And who was that so that we know?
It was Sean Ryan.
Okay.
So that is all correct on the line, online and on the website, but it is not correct in your book because we printed earlier today.
And many thanks to Mark and Donna. Appreciate you all.
So to quickly, as amended, if everyone's all right, if to take that really quickly again, do we have a motion to take those minutes that were just previously voted on and to have them accepted as amended, as that was not clear from before? Thank you. First and second, Susan, and I heard Lois. Susan Wittenberg. Great. Now we'll go to resolutions from our standing committees. So we'll start out with landmarks. Chenault, will you be giving the report this evening?
The application is first one, 702 Greenwich Street, to replace the door and storefront and install an awning. Recommend approval of this infill with historic reference. 248 West 12th, replace metal capped lintels and sills at the front facade. Recommend approval of the restoration of the facade elements to the original design and materials. 639 Hudson Street, to replace all existing windows, reclad the penthouse, straighten a wall on the roof, relocate 3 chimneys, and renovate the roof deck. Recommend approval of the penthouse alterations, moving the chimneys, and the agreed parapet modifications. That being that there was discussion about changing from the application, and the committee requested certain changes, and it was agreed that the applicant would work on that with the staff and come up with a reasonable accommodation for what the committee had recommended. In my copy, the heading for the next one is twice. I'm not sure if that got corrected. At any rate, it's 675 Hudson Street. Application to remove the billboard, construct a rooftop addition, modify ground floor openings, and construct an exterior vestibule, install new multi-infill windows, louvers, carry out interior reframing, excavation, and masonry restoration. This is worth saying something about. It's the noted triangle building on 9th Avenue at the edge of the meatpacking district. And the best summary would say is to change it from its historic character, which is quite intact, if faded, to a sophisticated uptown look. And what is described as interior reframing is in fact a complete and total gutting of the interior while attempting to keep the walls intact and then rebuilding it inside and reattaching to the walls. It is we don't deal with uses, but it's useful to know because it impacts what's being done. It's a sophisticated private club from London that's seeking to move to New York. And by admission and the application as it was presented, they want the building to be upgraded to what in their view is necessary for their clientele. We recommend denial of the removal of the entire interior of the building, supporting structure and excavation below the walls and into the sidewalk as too dangerous to be considered. Approval of the facade restoration provided that the patina and vestiges of painted signs remain, and that there be more variety in the ground floor infill reflecting the original and later historic conditions, and that it is restored to its historic feeling rather than being sanitized. Denial of areaways and other than those extant and non-historic fencing, this being a part of the upgrading of the sophistication. In view of their unique situation for this building as being remarkably preserved and its prominence in the district and its visibility from the adjacent historic districts, that the proposed highly visible rooftop addition be denied, that addition being an enormous glass bubble. Those were all unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 resolutions to vote on. Is there any that this body would like to call out? Otherwise, we'll take them in a block. Okay, not seeing any. So we have landmarks resolutions 1, 2, 3, and 4. If there's not seeing any unwillingness to vote, so all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Right, those pass. Next, we'll go to Parks and Waterfront.
Valerie, may I say something about Thompson Street, or is that better to say later?
I mean, I think it was mentioned by Councilmember Epstein, I believe. Oh, it was mentioned by.
I'm sorry, I was late. As long as people know about it, that's the point.
If there's anything you want to add, feel free.
Know that we're very glad that, and I said in jest and not totally in jest, it sounded as though some of the members of the commission had taken down what we said in the committee meeting and used it as their testimony, that we were completely in sync throughout. It was amazing.
Okay, thanks. Rich?
Oh, yeah, this is a resolution in support of a temporary public art installation within the New York City AIDS Memorial Park. It's called The Eternal Flame for Scott Burton. Unfortunately, the notes didn't make the handout, but everything in the notes is really in the whereas clauses, so please read that. I'll read the therefore be it resolved. That Community Board 2 Manhattan supports the proposed installation of Eternal Flame for Scott Burton at the New York City AIDS Memorial Park, as long as the project receives final authorization and permitting by the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. And the vote was unanimous.
Can you tell us what was on
Sure.
pages 1 to 2
Yeah.
and 3?
Yeah, the notes really went into what was a description of it. There was some artwork by an artist named Scott Burton that was put up in Sheepshead Bay and was destroyed during the Hurricane Sandy. It was Scott Burton's final public artwork, and it couldn't be repaired. And so this is a memorial that reflects, it sort of recreates a very small portion of that installation. And it's going to be placed in the central lawn within the park where we've had other installations in the past. They are there for a year, and that's typical. And they'll put it up in time for Pride Month and Pride Weekend. And so that was it.
So you're saying pages 1, 2, and 3 were all about the memorial?
No, 1 and 2, really page 1 and 2 are about the memorial.
Then what was on page 3?
That was, we discussed
I'm just trying to understand what there was in the report, because I don't know if people have all the information to vote and or
Yeah,
what the meeting was about.
That had nothing more. The resolution just refers to that which was discussed as the first topic, which is everything that I just described about this installation.
Okay, and then
The last pages were really new business discussions about our upcoming meetings.
okay, which were what?
We have two upcoming meetings, or we have two big topics that are coming up in future months. One is about the proposed rec center at 388 Hudson. And the second is about a discussion that we requested of our committee about gates for Washington Square Park. And so we're going to have those in future months.
In May for the gates,
May
right?
for the gates, and probably because we have a big space for it, and probably because it's a big topic, we will have the presentation on the rec center, the proposed rec center in 388 Hudson, probably in June.
Let's not give a month on that, because we just don't know that, and I don't want us to disappoint the public by having to move that one more time. So just wanted the other one. Thank you. Okay, so I believe Mark has sent out the full report in your email.
If you can access it, yeah.
So, and again, the resolution is on page 4, which is in the packet online and any printed packets, but there is context, just maybe a page and a half for the resolution, but the resolution in its whole is here. So is there any unwillingness to vote on the resolution as presented in the board packet? I'm seeing none. So all those in favor for the resolution in support of a temporary public art installation at the New York City AIDS Memorial Park? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will go to street activities and resiliency.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. So we had a pretty standard meeting this month. We did have another presentation. We get one about once or twice a year from SAPO CECM. There's a report in the back of my report here where you can read about the key topics covered. In case you were curious, 558 SAPO permits approved within Community District 2 last year. That gives you an idea of the volume of events we're dealing with. FYI, 656 MOME permits, by the way, which is filming, so even more of those, and those don't come by our committee at all. You can read more in the back of our report, but let me go through the resos. We had 9 actual resos and then a bunch of FYI renewals. So number 1, April 13th to 14th, NYX launch, Gansevoort Plaza. That was a no-show, deny unanimous. 2 and 3 are 2 separate events by 4 Eon sampling. Those are food truck activations in 2 different locations. That was a unanimous approve. Number 4, April 30th, Great Jones event, Great Jones between Bowery and Lafayette. That was unanimous approve. Number 5, Labor is Art, A Ball Without Billionaires, SEIU Fashion Show, Gansevoort Plaza. Unanimous approve with 1 recusal. Eddie Siegel, SEIU, is potentially a client of his firm. Number 6, May 5th to 11th, luxury brand new product launch by Prada. That's also on the Gansevoort Plaza. That was unanimous approve. Number 7, the annual Crew Big Easy Street event. That's on Gansevoort Street, full street closure, May 9th. That was unanimous approve. Number 8, the house tour sponsors Sirhant, West Broadway, between Broome and Spring Streets. That was a no-show, unanimous deny. That would be a closure of West Broadway during rush hour. So we flagged that as a potential issue. And then May 30th, Balthazar wedding event, spring between Broadway and Crosby. That was unanimous approve. 10 through 33 are FY renewals that we approved unanimously. And then 34 and 35 are 2 recurring events that we wanted to hear more about. So we've asked them to attend next month's meeting. And that is it.
Great. Are there any of these that people would like to call out? Susan, and then Katie.
Just a question, it's not a call out, regarding the Balthazar.
So that is a call out. So that is a call out?
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
question about Balthazar wedding event. And
What-
that is that it seems to be like a private event, not, so, I mean, this looks a little unusual, just in the sense that somebody has a wedding and they want to have it more convenient to drop their guests off. I mean, what makes this special that this is an okay thing to do for this particular situation?
I think honestly, like, we like to see this because, like, generally when people do events on the inside of buildings or in various interior spaces, they often don't even come before SAPO because they say, well, I'm doing an event inside, I don't need the street. People can figure it out if they want to get dropped off wherever. I think we like to see this when there's big events inside, and we like to see this with pop-ups, so we at least know it's coming. So I think they're just trying to be considerate, knowing that, you know, they're going to be dropping off a lot of people, and they do want to maybe rope off a little bit of the curb. In my view, that's preferable to whatever the chaos would be if they're trying to pull up. So I don't think there's anything special about it. There's tons of events like this that happen all the time. This one, they just actually came before us to ask for the permit.
Got it, okay, thank you.
Katie, did you want to call out, or you have a question?
No, I just have a question about the report, or 2 or 3, is this a good time to ask those?
Yes.
Okay, so can you just tell me what MOME stands for? We had 656.
Oh, yes. Sorry, it's Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment, so they govern all of the film licenses, film shooting licenses.
Okay, thank you. Now, the second question, the last question. It says 8,300 applications were processed citywide, 6,300 were approved. In CB2, 558 were approved. So the average approval rate per city, community board is 141. So we're very far ahead. But how many applications were processed for community board to line up with the 8,300 figure?
I don't think they gave us the number. We can ask them. I assume it's fairly in line with the overall number. I would say just anecdotally, the majority of the applications which come before us, SAPO does approve. And a lot of the ones that they deny are just ones where there's a conflict, where there's an area that there's already an event happening. We've seen certain cases where it's a real safety issue and they do deny it, but definitely the majority of the events in our district are approved.
But yeah, we're burdened with these.
Yeah, it's a recurring issue, and every time they come, there's people that ask the question that say, look, we have so many commercial events. By the way, they did talk about that in our district. Something like 80 to 90% of the events in our district are commercial. And they say, look, the rules of the city of New York, which we follow, do not allow us to discriminate on a commercial versus non-commercial event. So everybody wants to see more cultural events, more local events. For now, there's nothing that can be done unless there was a sort of rethinking completely of how the system works.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Is there none being, I guess none called out? So we have resolutions 1 for street activities 1 through 9. Then we have the FY renewals 10 through 33, and then laid over 34 and 35. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I still need to abstain from number 5 as the
That would be a
SEIU.
recusal. I haven't called that yet because I believe it says that you might have a
Sorry,
client issue. Yeah, so if there's a potential financial interest, that is a recusal. So I will now call for recusals, and if you could state the reason why.
they are from time to time a client of my firm.
Great, thank you.
Me too.
Okay.
So I have 1, 5, 6, 19, and 30 to recuse from. I'm a voting member of the meatpacking bid board.
Can I just read that back? 1, 5,
Sure. 1,
1, 5, 6, 19.
6, 19, 30.
Thanks, Donna. Oh, and 30.
Okay. Erica? I don't think that's on.
Good. I need to recuse on 1 and 6. Both Nix and Prada are clients of my company.
Okay, thank you. Next, we will go to land use.
Katie will present the report.
Yeah, I know. Oh, how many things can I juggle? Height, glasses. So the April Land Use and Housing Committee had 2 topics on its agenda. The first one is 142 Green Street. We created a list of questions for the Borough President's Office, which may go to HPD as well, and for the applicant, who is not required to come. But we're hoping they will come in May. So the item is laid over and you can read the questions. The second matter was 51 Little West 12th Street, which is consideration of the applicant's April 13th, 2026, second revised submission to the Board of Standards and Appeals in connection with its request for a zoning variance pursuant to ZR 72, Zoning Resolution 72-21. And therefore be it resolved, CB2 continues to support our September 2025 resolution denying this application, as the applicant has still failed to meet the 5 findings necessary for a variance pursuant to ZR 72, number 21. We have further comments relative to some of the 5 findings. Second finding is the rate of return. We have serious questions detailed here about the restaurant comparables, which are supporting their economic analysis. Finding number 3 is neighborhood character. The revised height of the building continues to be out of character with the majority of the buildings in the CB2 section of the village. CB2 recommends reducing the height of the first 3 floors from the currently planned 50 feet so that the building is more in character with the area. Also, reducing the base would allow the building to fit into the neighborhood character better by improving the building's relationship to the streets around it, eliminating the blank face that the current iteration of the base presents to the community, and allowing residential use here is out of character with the neighborhood, as the applicant admitted that they were relying on inaccurate data and that this area is non-residential. Finding number 5, which is required that they show that they're asking for the minimum variance, and the applicant has not proved that the variance is the minimum needed because there's no restaurant comparable, as the analysis failed to include any operating restaurants. And in addition to the further comments specified in number 2, CB2 reiterates the arguments in the September 2025 resolution on the variance application for the site, excluding the single-family residential use specified in section 2A of the resolved section in September. The resolution passed with a vote of 7 in favor and 2 opposed, Arturo Fernandez and Frederica Siegel. There will be a further meeting of the Board of Standards and Appeals on this item Tuesday, April 28th. We are not required to say anything, but we can testify, and I'm sure members of the public will testify again as they have in the past.
Thank you. Are there any discussion on this? Arturo?
There's a mic over there on the ledge.
On this application, I think some folks will remember that we saw this a few months ago in December, November, and we had a lot of comment about it, especially one sentence regarding this kind of notion that residential housing doesn't belong in the meatpacking district, or at least it wasn't zoned for it. But there are a lot of things there that, one might say it has gone beyond the manufacturing zoning. And I think when the feedback that the BSA actually gave the applicant was that they would consider alternative uses, but that they would not give them any more FAR. And this proposal is now below the FAR that it's currently zoned for. The applicant has reduced the project significantly in good faith from 14 stories to 9 and cut the total floor area by 1/3. And I think this reflects a real responsiveness to feedback and brings it closer to conceptual scale. To me, this shows that the process is working, that people are going to the community board, getting feedback, going to the BSA, getting feedback, and iterating. So, I think a lot of us would like even more housing on this lot, but some people would oppose like the height restrictions. So I think when it comes to meeting in the middle to actually get housing built in CB2, even if it's in the meatpacking district, which hasn't historically been zoned for it, this is a good opportunity to actually introduce housing. I think we need to really focus on the bigger picture, which is the opportunity to introduce additional housing, and stop trying to tear this application apart detail by detail.
Great. Frederica?
Back in September, I sided with the people who denied because the building was 176 feet tall, and as Arturo said, it had an FAR of 7. Now it's 126, and the FAR is 4.5. I don't think any building ever meets completely the findings of the BSA, and I don't feel that we are knowledgeable enough to actually opine upon the minimum variance and the rate of return. I think that the most important thing to me is that if CB2 is going to choose between an as-of-right commercial building and a residential building with a variance, that we should, even if it's only 6 apartments, that we should go for the 6 apartments. And I'm baffled by the fact that we would be complaining about what's going on in Hudson Square with commercial over residential, and then lament a residential building that's going into a commercial area that's actually going to become very residential. So it's an evolving neighborhood, and I think we have an opportunity to shape the neighborhood, and I'd like to see us do that.
Any further discussion? Carter? Oh, the Land Use Committee, huh?
We're taking your advice about transparency.
Beautiful. That is really kind.
So we hashed this out pretty thoroughly at the committee meeting, and one of the things, if we want to see changes in neighborhoods, we need to rezone them. Variances aren't the appropriate way to address piecemeal change in any part of our community, and it's really not the right approach to do that. There's also demand for all kinds of buildings, and this site is not a great site. And even though there is a housing shortage, just having 6 units, this is a site that other commercial development that would go in a better site for housing, that it takes away from that. And so going through with variances to redesign our community is really not a good step. If the board wants to see changes in the meatpacking district, we should present a change to rezone the entire area with all the appropriate elements that go into zoning to encourage proper housing. And I think that we're going to see that coming up in the coming months as we go through with the Gansford Square development and stuff, you know, in that area. But this was thoroughly discussed at the committee. I don't know if any other committee members want to speak to it, but I'll just point that out. And I think that one of the things, you know, for all rezonings that we hear, the city doesn't always get it right. Hudson Square is a great example of that. You know, the outcomes that we saw there weren't what we wanted. And so what we need to do is really focus on rezonings and get the right language elements in there, and also recognize that there's a tremendous desire to build commercial, and it needs to go somewhere. It is something that we saw in the Soho NoHo rezoning. We got a 23 commercial story building for which I believe is going to house Chobani. They chose not to go in the housing direction. You have Hudson Square, numerous corporate headquarters. We lost the housing, you know, that was what's now Google. So if we really want to take an approach, we should focus on rezonings, get appropriate development, get the right incentivization, and not really go off on one-offs through variances. So, and I think the reso covers a lot of the issues, and it's also a standing board position. Thanks.
Thank you. Janet, can we pass the microphone to Janet? Thank you.
I have my hand up too.
Hi, thank you. I just
No, I'm
want to
just telling you.
say I support Arturo and Frederica. Rezoning takes a very long time. Like, it's great. We should also have a master plan for the village and the whole city, and by the time you do the master plan, all the circumstances have changed. So this is an opportunity, and I think it reflects poorly on us not to be, you know, as each of them said, to meet in the middle and to respect what's, you know, perfectly, they've shrunk the building, it's small, there's nothing offensive happening here. So I don't think we can, I don't recommend waiting for full-scale rezoning to slowly evolve the neighborhood. And also, I'm not quite sure how much demand there is for commercial these days. As a commercial broker, we have 17% vacancy rate.
Great, Janine, or Katie, and then Janine, and then
I'll yield to
Shirley.
Janine first.
Okay, Janine.
One is Carter spoke about that he's opposed to variances, but the therefore be it resolved just addresses 3 of the 5 findings. So I'm trying to understand, is the resolution saying no because it doesn't meet 3 of the 5 findings? And then my second question is, did the applicant who did they hire to put this together for them that they would pick 5 restaurants that don't exist anymore? I'm just trying to understand how off that was.
Yep, I'll go through those questions first before I make some other comments. We are repeating our position, Janine, from the earlier resolutions where we went through all 5 findings. We just had some additional comments on those 3 findings in this instance. And what was your second question?
We could get the microphone.
You didn't answer. Carter said basically he's not supporting it because it's a variance versus this is the reason, the reso, the way it reads to me is we're not supporting it because it doesn't meet the requirements for a variance.
Well, that's
just his opinion.
That's how I would, in a long history of fighting variances, both outside of the board and inside the board, that's what you do. You go through the 5 findings and you see if they meet them, and if they don't meet them, then it's not a proper.
Okay, so Carter's comment was his view, not necessarily what the resolution says.
Well,
and then my second question.
And I will go to that.
Yeah, and my second question is, why would this applicant put in 5 restaurants that don't exist? I mean, did they not hire the A team or the B team?
This is, and actually the Sheldon Lobel's firm is very well known, long history of doing, working on applicants who are trying to get variances. We did not include this, but there's a huge problem with their analysis of the residential presence in the meatpacking. And one of our community members pointed it out to them, and Lobel had to go back and say they were depending on a deficient database, and that they had originally said there were residences, and now they have to admit that there are no residences. So I don't know, Janine, they fell down on the residential, the residential analysis, and they fell down on the restaurant analysis, and they had no answer on the restaurant analysis when it was presented to them by a community member, which was me, but not in my community board hat. So it's a mystery, I agree. Now, as to variances. This area is going to be rezoned. It's clear. The city has said they're rezoning. I think we have accepted that as a community board. We're going to work through that process, I hope, with the city. When you do a rezoning, then you think holistically about what is needed for the rezoning. If it's a manufacturing zone, you have to make sure that the needs of manufacturers are met. If it's a residential zone, you have to make sure that the needs of residential uses are met. No one has ever officially lived here. This has been a market zone. No one's lived here, so there's probably inadequate sewers, and everything's going to be looked at, top to bottom. Transportation, schools, open space. The list, the secret list is very long. And then we're going to figure out what fits and what needs to be done to make this a good residential neighborhood. There's no grocery store. There's hardly a deli. So it's a very fringy area right now. So I think rezoning, Carter's talking about it, rezoning is proper because it will look at all the factors that are needed. And this is only five apartments. I suspect it'll be fewer at the end of the day. I think some of them are going to be combined. In our discussions, we had the advantage of Anita, our architect on our committee, really looking at the base of the building. And I think that our suggestions about bringing the height down are very good. I think that the BSA is going to approve this change. That's sort of the tenor, and they keep telling them to come back, fix this and come back, fix that and come back. And it's good to point out the problems with their analysis. The fact the economic analysis is dependent on improper things. But we've put in some things about getting that building even lower, because I don't know, there's a 30-foot floor at the bottom and a 20-foot floor. The bottom floors are very, very tall, unnecessarily. So we're trying to get that point across as well.
Eddie's been waiting very patiently online, so we're going to go to Eddie, and then we'll address questions in the room.
Hi, yes,
Discussion.
I agree a lot with what others have said, especially I really like Frederica's statement. I'll say that neighborhood character is made up, the characters who live there. Our neighborhood is enhanced by having more characters in our community, and our neighborhood character is very signified by our extreme housing crisis. And so while I appreciate some of the analysis here, I really would like us to lean in and try and understand the ways we can that our neighborhood characters very qualified to have more housing during a housing crisis. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Arturo, and then Frederica.
Yeah, I just kind of want to piggyback off of what Katie said, because I think this is where we did agree on a committee, which is that the focus really on neighborhood character and context for the first 3 floors was, I think, something we universally agreed upon, was just making the first few floors more integrated with the character of the neighborhood, especially from the pedestrian level. And to your point on housing consolidation, I'll remind everyone that at the first land use committee meeting, the representatives on this project did say that they were willing to incorporate a prohibition on combining units into the building's governing documents and or its certificate of occupancy filings. So they said that. We didn't get that on writing, and we probably should for these type of projects going forward at some level. I'm not sure what level that's supposed to happen, but I think those are the types of things that we should be focusing on, not trying to, again, just find and nitpick things to try to tear the application down.
Frederica?
Yes, I thought that we were lucky to have Anita's opinion about the first 3 floors because the street wall is very tall. And if we were to ask them, rather than deny the application for the variance, I would rather see us recommend approval, provided that they lower the street wall. And that would be a more proactive, more positive way to approach this.
I just want to say one thing.
I'm sorry? Yes, go ahead.
I mean, the Board of Standards and Appeals has a list of things that an applicant is supposed to meet. And it's not like a free-form thing. They have to prove these 5 things. Anita's shaking her head. They have to prove these 5 things. And if they don't, the board isn't supposed to approve them, whether we approve or not, because they haven't met this legal standard. So, as I said, I think the board is going to approve it, but I'm not going to agree with it because the applicant hasn't proved the
Can we
point.
just call the question?
Personally, and the committee isn't, but I personally don't see that they've met those 5 findings.
Can we call the question?
Is there a second to calling the question? Okay, see a second from Frederica. Will we just agree to, if somebody, you should have objected to, that's why somebody called the question, asked if there was a second, there was a second, there was not. So all those in favor to call the question?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Okay, so, okay, but that's why we were calling the question. You would vote against calling the question. Okay, well, we haven't called for the vote yet, so, okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna call, if there's a no unwillingness to vote, please let the body let me know if there's any unwillingness to vote. Seeing none, all those in favor for this resolution on 51 Little West 12th Street? Thank you for the ayes. Opposed? Okay, so there's some hands. So Emma, why don't you read them off?
Thanks, everyone. You can put your hand down when I call you. Chris? Amy? Nina? Susanna? Rich? Ben? Arturo? Man, my glasses are bad. Janet? Frederica? Thank you.
One to your right, Emma.
Janine? Thanks for your patience, folks. Eddie, I've got your hand online. You're a no, right? Thank you. DJ, sorry. In the corner. DJ, got you. Any other? I am also no. Anybody else in the room or online? I'm looking for hands.
For opposed.
For opposed. Okay.
Great. Abstentions. Are there any abstentions?
Erica, I've got you. And Will, I've got you for abstention. Keen, you're abstaining?
We need
Thank you,
verbal,
I've got
we need
you.
verbal votes on the online, please,
I've
because
got
we
you,
just
Keen.
can't be looking. Thanks. And
Any other hands I'm missing? I'm just scanning again.
for abstentions?
4, who's the 4th?
Abstentions. Recusals. Can you read off that vote for us?
Yes, I can. One moment, if you don't mind. I'm just telling
Sure.
you quick. Okay, we had 13 noes. We had 3 abstentions. That leaves us with the remaining 10 yeses because we are a total of 36 attendees right now. So this does not pass.
Okay, so that does not pass. Okay.
It's off the business session. I don't think anyone's departed, but sure. Janine voted before she exited the room, but I'm happy to do it.
No, he's asking for a roll call of just who's present, not a vote, but who's present. So if, Emma, could you please
Yeah,
do a roll call?
I'm happy to. Actually, can I just clarify for my notes? This is not the
This
the
is a roll
vote,
call.
it's just a roll call?
Present, who's
Okay.
here?
Alrighty, sounds good. Okay. Susanna Aaron. Thank you. Will Banesh. Thanks, Will. Keen Berger.
Here.
Thanks, Keen, I see you. Carter Booth. Katie Bordenaro.
Here.
Anita Brandt. Amy Brenna. Rich Cacapolo. Nina Chen. Valerie De La Rosa.
Present.
Thank you. Chris Dignas. Arturo Fernandez. Mar Fitzgerald, I see you walking.
I'm
Wasn't here.
online.
Thanks, Mar. Susan Gammy. DJ Jane. Susan Kent. Janine Kiley. Patricia Laria. I can see you're typing in the chat, but if I could hear your voice, that would be awesome. Patricia? Okay, we'll come back. Janet Liff. Benjamin Listman. Ed Ma. Mr. Ma? Okay. Paul McDade. Erica Olson. Brian Pape.
Yes,
Donna
Edma,
Rapp.
yes, Edma, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ma. I've got you. Thank you. Sorry, Erica Olson. Thank you, Brian Pape. Gotcha. Donna Raftery. Lois Rakoff. Bo Riccobono.
哦，啊，可不行，
Secunda.
过一会儿再来。
Siegel.
Can you mute Ed?
Here, I think.
Thanks, Eddie.
You're calling me.
Frederica Siegel. Emma Smith, I'm present. Chenault Spence.
They're here.
Thank you, Chenault. Sean Sweeney. Susan Wittenberg. Anthony Wong. Thank you. Eugene Yu. Awesome. So the one change we have is I haven't heard from Patricia. One last call for Patricia if you're online. Awesome. Okay.
Amy, do you have a question? Could you get a microphone?
Some of the people who are remote don't count for quorum, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Just want to confirm.
No, thank you for clarifying. We still have quorum, if that's helpful
So
for
how many
folks.
people are here?
We have 35 individuals present. We have 33 individuals counting to quorum. As Amy noted, some folks online do not count to quorum.
So if
So if the vote is out of the 35, then that would take actually one away from the yes, so we would have 9 yeses. And let me tell you the rest of them real
if we
quick.
have 16 noes,
We have 13 noes, but 3 abstentions.
okay, so that's 16.
Yep.
And we have 35 people.
We have 35 folks.
So 19 plus 16 is 35. So, because 10 plus 16 would be 26. So someone,
One sec.
something-
One sec. Let me check my, okay, we got 36. We have minus 16, 20. Katie, you're absolutely right. Thank you so much.
So the vote.
This passes. Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
it's a
Thank you so much. Yeah, we would have caught that in our finals, but thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Many
I don't
thanks.
understand. What just happened?
Yeah, I just had the wrong column in my count. I miscounted. We have 13 folks against. We have 6 folks abstaining. 3 abstaining. And then the remainder is the yes. The remainder is, as Katie's saying.
What is the remainder number?
19.
Okay.
As Katie stated,
So
not
it's
9.
19, 6, 19.
19,
Can you just read it out, just
13,
in order?
6.
Thanks.
19 yes. Thank you. Okay, folks. 19 yes. 13 yes. 19 yes. 13 no's. 3 abstentions. We stuck the landing on the 3 abstentions. Again, thank you, Kitty.
Thank you so much. So this passes with 19
Yes,
in
it does.
favor, 13 against, and 3 abstentions.
Yes,
That is
because there's-
35.
Yes. It was 36, and Patricia's no longer online.
33 was who counts towards quorum.
Are we counting quorum right now? We have 33 counting to
Somebody was
quorum.
asking Amy asked how many counted towards quorum, but it's out of if there's quorum, everyone can vote.
Yes, yes. So all of our votes count. 33 to quorum. Okay, can we stop the numbers?
Thank you, yes.
I'm really not a math girl.
I know, it's okay, we're all math people, we're all human. So next we'll go to SLA Licensing 1, Donna.
Okay, SLA licensing 1, met on April 7th. We had 20 applications, 16 resolutions, all the votes were unanimous. JDBN LLC doing business as Domo Domo at 138 140 West Houston Street. That was an alteration to combine the spaces out of preposition, deny unless with stipulations. Rockstar Chicken NoHo Inc. doing business as Rockstar Chicken, 52 East 8th Street. This is a wine beer cider transfer, deny unless with stipulations. Medu Foods LLC, 496 LaGuardia Place. It's an on-premise with a restaurant, deny unless with stips. Mayans Hospitality Group LLC, doing business as Wine at Mayans at 519 Broome. It's a tavern wine, deny unless with stips. Bobby Lou's Enterprises Inc., doing business as Baby John's Pizzeria at 191 Grand. On-premise for a restaurant, transfer, deny unless. All of the deny unless's are with stipulations. I'm just not going to keep saying that. Bobby Lou's Enterprises Inc., doing business as the Cafe Palermo, 148 Mulberry Street. On-premise for a restaurant, it's a transfer, deny unless. NADC New York LLC, doing business as NADC Burger, 25 Cleveland Place. It's a tavern wine license, deny unless. Bad Manners New York LLC, New York City LLC, doing business as Bad Manners at 25 Great Jones. It's an on-premise for a restaurant, previously unlicensed location, deny unless. Patco LLC and Gray Heron Holdings LLC at 2 Bleecker Street, on-premise for tavern, deny unless. Rulin Hospitality LLC, doing business as Rulin at 15 East 13th Street. It's an on-premise for a restaurant, that's deny unless. Dos Puertos Inc., doing business as Palermo Soho Argentinian Bistro at 55 Grand. That's an on-premise for a restaurant, deny unless. Leo Sushi LLC, doing business as Sendo at 43 West 8th Street. That's a restaurant wine license, previously unlicensed location, deny unless. Prince Eatery LLC at 199 Prince Street, on-premise for a restaurant. It's a transfer, deny. Talem LLC, doing business as Salute at 183 Grand. That's a tavern wine, deny unless. The Wren New York LLC, doing business as the Wren at 344 Bowery. That's an alteration to add the sidewalk seating. Their appearance was waived, deny unless. Ukimi LLC, 247 Elizabeth Street. That's a tavern wine, previously unlicensed. It's a re-notification. We heard it in August 2025. Appearance was waived. We recommended approval back then. It was deny unless again. And then items 17 to 20 are layovers or withdrawals.
Thank you, Donna. Are there any of these resolutions that anyone would like to call out? Otherwise, we'll take them in a block. Okay, seeing none. So we're SLA 1, we have resolutions 1 through 16, and then we have layovers, withdrawals, et cetera, 17 through 20. If there's no unwillingness to vote, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Thank you very much. SLA 2?
SLA 2, we met on the 9th. The decisions were unanimous unless I say otherwise. We had 24 applications, 16 resolutions. Manor Estate Wines USA LLC, doing business at Secret Wine Garden, 61 Carmine Street. That's a tavern wine, previously unlicensed, deny unless. Romay LLC, doing business as Romay, 57 7th Avenue. That's a restaurant wine license. It's a transfer, deny unless. Fort Charles Restaurant LLC, doing business as Fort Charles Prime Rib. That's a change in method of operation, deny unless. This one had 5 members in favor and 2 board members and 1 public member opposed. Sweet Pineapple LLC at 108 West 14th Street. It's an on-premise for a restaurant, deny unless. Hungry Llama LLC, doing business as Hungry Llama at 679 Washington Street. This was a change of method of operation and an alteration to add the sidewalk and roadway seating. deny unless. Ruby's West Village LLC, doing business as Little Ruby's Cafe, 225 West 4th Street. It's an alteration to add adjacent storefront, deny unless. Carmine Street Beers, Inc., doing business as Carmine Street Beers, 52A Carmine Street. That's an alteration to add the rear yard. That is not, that's a deny. The Beer Garage 2 LLC, doing business as the Beer Garage at 118 Christopher Street. It's an on-premise for a restaurant. It's a class change. It was deny unless with 6 board members plus 1 public member in favor and 1 board member opposed. 51 Merchants LLC, 49 Grove Street, basement. It's an on-premise for catering, deny unless. West 11th Street, Hospitality LLC at 34 8th Avenue, on-premise for a restaurant. It's a transfer, deny unless. Loop-based Eats LA Kitchen, Inc. at 110 6th Avenue. It's a corporate change. Their appearance was waived, deny unless. Pesh LLC, doing business as Dame, 87 McDougal, alteration for to add the sidewalk, appearance waived, deny unless. Number 13, West 4th and Barrow LLC, doing business at the Spaniard at 190 West 4th Street. That's an alteration to add the sidewalk. Their appearance was waived, and I would like to, I guess we voted deny unless. I'd like to make an amendment to that resolution. How do I, is that,
Can I make a motion?
I make a motion to make an amendment.
Second?
Paul McDade in the back.
Okay.
Seconding.
Paul, a second from Paul. I can't see him, but.
He's back there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. I
So-
see.
Should I go
That's
ahead?
fine.
Okay, so item number 2 says, whereas the applicant has executed and has notarized the supplementary stipulation agreement, I would like to add, whereas the applicant, this is what I want to add, reached out to and received support from both the Central Village Block Association and the Carmine Street Block Association, and then have it continue, has executed and has notarized a supplementary stipulation. So all I'm adding is reached out to and received support from both the Central Village Block Association and the Carmine Street Block Association.
Okay, so just quickly on that, is any discussion on that before we just quickly vote on that? Or, yeah, just so
Can we
you
just fold
quickly.
it in?
Huh?
If nobody has an objection, can it be?
Yeah, we
folded
can
in?
fold it in if there's no other discussion on that or objection to folding it in with the omnibus. I'm seeing no objection, so continue.
Okay. Number 14, Tapestry Management LLC at 60 Greenwich Avenue, alteration to add the sidewalk, appearance was waived, deny unless. French Roast Inc., doing business as La Contenta West, 78 West 11th Street, alteration, add sidewalk, appearance waived, deny unless. Dante Grove Street LLC, doing business at Dante, 7981 McDougal, alteration to add the sidewalk, appearance was waived, deny unless. That's really a re-notification on that one. And then items 17 through 24 were layovers or withdrawals.
Okay, great. Thank you, Donna. So for SLA2, we have resolutions 1 through 16, including the amended number 13 in there, and then 17 through 24, layovers, withdrawals, et cetera. Are there any that someone would like to call out or anyone would like to call out? Otherwise, we'll take them as an omnibus vote. Okay, seeing no unwillingness to vote. All those in favor of SLA 1 through 16 and 17 through 24? Opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Thank you very much. Next, we will go to traffic and transportation.
Good evening. I hope this is fast. I went and looked at the tape, and our committee voted to pass a resolution at the very end. But since that meeting, we've had several interim calls with DOT. They're getting us more information. They're tweaking their presentation on the redesign on Lafayette 4th Avenue, and they're going to be coming to our meeting next Tuesday. So I would like to make a motion that I table this resolution, because we'll have a much more thorough one next month, and convert it to notes to be included on our website.
We have a second. I
All
can
right.
hear from Arturo.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. A roll call?
It's a
Oh,
roll
yeah,
call.
we do have to do a roll call. I apologize, everyone. I was trying to move us along.
No
Let's just do it
apologies.
all. Thank you, Janine, for your report. We look forward to that continued conversation.
Thanks, Janine. All right, Susanna Aaron. Will Benesh. Keen Berger.
Aye.
Thanks, Keen. Carter Booth. Katie Bordenaro. Anita Brandt. Amy Brenna. Rich Cacapolo. Nina Chen. Valerie De La Rosa.
Yes.
Chris Dignas. Arturo Fernandez. Mara Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Thank you. Susan Gammy. DJ Jane. Susan Kent. Janine Kiley. Patricia Laria. Patricia, are you on that? Okay, no. Janet Liff. Benjamin Lissman. Ed Ma. Mr. Ma. Okay, we'll come back. Paul McDade. Erica Olson. Brian Pape. Donna Raftery. Lois Rakoff. Bo Riccobono. Shirley Secunda. Edward Siegel.
Yes.
Frederica Siegel. Frederica.
Hello.
Emma Smith, yes. Chenault Spence.
Yes.
Sean Sweeney. Susan Wittenberg. Anthony Wong. Eugene Yu. And one last call, Mr. Ma, are you still online? Okay.
We have to hear his vote.
Can we hear your voice for the vote? All right.
Okay.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you. Is there any new business? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay, so Erica and Lois, thank you very much. We have the recording off. Can we turn off the recording?